Hello. It's been a while since we've updated the podcast, especially in a video format. So this should be appearing on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also uh, over on YouTube as well. I'll post it up there eventually. Just anyone getting seasick. I'm actually I'm constantly feel like I'm trying new things. Um, I've got I'm borrowing Mickey's MacBook Air, the M2, which is lovely. But as with most Macs, in fact, most laptops, I don't think, I think Macs are not particularly good at this, but most laptops' webcams are pretty terrible when you compare them to what your smartphone can offer. So Apple's got this uh, cool thing, I think it's called continuity camera, where you can connect your phone wirelessly to your laptop. And so now I'm actually recording this through my mobile camera, but it's got this weird functionality on it which keeps moving the camera around. If I move my head slightly, it's supposed to be good if you're kind of a food blogger and you're moving around the kitchen quite a lot. But when you just sat fairly static in your living room, dining room, wherever I am, with my intellectual bookshelf behind me and Dubai Marina, uh, it just feels like a little bit like seasick. Because if I come in like this, it will start to zoom out. And anyway, it's not too bad, I guess. Not too bad. But look, I wanted to touch upon this. We did publish, I've been focusing more on LinkedIn, starting up a newsletter called Measure the Facts, which sort of tackles a lot on what's going on in the news, what I'm seeing in the industry across the Middle East, in particular, um, in sustainability, in industry, in society, in the public sector. Um, Basically, anything that interests me, which is based on facts. It's a very low bar that gets into Measure the Facts newsletter. But this goes out to my subscribers on LinkedIn, which is nearly at 2,000 for this newsletter. So thank you for subscribing. If you are subscribing to the newsletter and this podcast, I do pity you. You do need to get out more. But thank you for that, I think. And look, I was struck last week. Mercer brought out their annual cost of living index, especially I think it's aimed at expats living abroad. So I just took a read of that. Um, the news in Dubai was very much like, oh, Dubai is number 18 in the list. I think it was the highest in the region. Not sure why we're excited to talk about being the most expensive place to live. However, I just wanted to take a swipe at that. So put out a piece on the newsletter about attracting top talent. Is being an expensive place to live. By the way, I think Hong Kong took the top spot this year, and Singapore came in at number two. And then I think there were either four or five cities in Switzerland in the rest of the top 10. Um, so, Dubai, I mean, the GCC, the Gulf states, not too bad, but I think obviously there's the tax situation is probably taken into account there as well, in that you get more of your salary net. Obviously, corporation tax is coming in, and VAT's been around for a few years, but generally, in the Middle East, I think it's been not too bad. Um, but with the rising cost, especially globally, of the cost of living crisis, I think COVID kind of accelerated that. Especially I mean, now you're hearing in the news the likes of Germany and Ireland, I think, are officially in a recession. And you just got to think, well, it's pretty tough. Obviously, family, friends in the UK finding it fairly hard as well. Um, but I think at the end of the day, governments need to be mindful of, cost of living. How can they give a good standard of living and continue attracting the right kind of people that they want? The UAE has been quite particular in its visas for many years. They always look for uh, university university educated. Up until very recently, it was you had to be sponsored by your company in order to get a residency visa as well. Now they've broadened that out. There's the green visa, there's the golden visa, there's the investor's visa. If you're a business owner, you have that as well. So it's not based on your company sponsorship, but on what you contribute to the country. Um, and I think it's really interesting, and companies, multinationals in around the world have to pay attention, take heed of the Mercer index and other indices and benchmarks as well, if they want to retain top talent. I mean, it depends. Is your most of the MNCs will have some sort of a regional office here in the Middle East, whether it's here in Dubai, maybe Abu Dhabi, could even be increasingly so in Saudi. I know, obviously, they have a certain quota that they're trying to hit as part of the Saudi Vision 2030, where they're looking to for in-country value. We've had it here for a while, but uh, if your regional HQ is not in Saudi Arabia from, I think, next year, and your company is of a certain size, etc., then government contracts um, will be harder to come by because you need to demonstrate to Saudi that you are committed to investing in the country. Um, so yeah, all these things. It's a wide spectrum of things that companies need to take into account. Talent, benefits, how they structure the company. Do you have companies and do you have offices in different parts of the region? And how do you expect to attract this talent? And is it long term, or are you bringing people in for short term in order to build the skills with local talent? And it's kind of like a build, operate, and transfer model as well. So you can't. It's not just a question of throwing more money at things, um, but how much can MNCs kind of ease these things as well. I would recommend you read the report. Let me know if you are affected yourself. Um, what's the cost of living doing to your bank account? Um, if like me and my wife, you're in your 40s, how is this impacting, your saving and moving ahead with retirement not too far around the corner? Be great to hear your thoughts. Take care. And if you want to give me a follow on LinkedIn, that would be great as well. And maybe sign up to the newsletter. Thank you very much.